Hey, this is Rick Theriault, your Maine real estate guide. I'm standing on location in Forkstown Township, Maine. I'm standing on 100 surveyed acres of harvested recreational off-grid property. This is kind of a diamond in the rough, and maybe a property that just hasn't been discovered yet. This is an off-grid property that is year-round accessible. It abuts on U.S. Highway Route 2A. It's got over 1,700 feet of frontage on that year-round maintained, paved, plowed U.S. highway. It is off-grid because in Forkstown Township there are no utilities. There's no electricity and there's no telephone lines that are visible anywhere. What you see behind me is a utility easement that was cut out here. I'm going to say, looking at the growth of the trees, about 20 plus years ago, and the power line was never installed. So it's largely open and grasses with some 20 plus year old spruce and cedars and whatnot taking hold. Also, what's out here is a tremendous amount of moose sign. I saw dozens and dozens of fresh beds this morning walking here. There's a browse area where they've nipped off every little hardwood shoot within 25 yards. And I found a pretty big track that was pretty fresh because we had a heavy rain a couple of days ago, and this is a fresh track. I'm willing to bet there's a bull moose hanging out here, kind of waiting for the signal. We're approaching the rut. We're not quite there yet. We're about a month off for the bull moose rut, but it's coming. So he's just lingering, waiting for his hormones and everything to kick in, and for him to start shedding the velvet on his antlers, and then start looking for a mate. But this is a great property, 100 acres. It's got a nice cleared area at the road, year-round accessible. You could park a camper here. You could build a house. You can do about whatever you want. There are no restrictions, and it's in an unorganized township, which means extremely low property taxes. This is not a short-term timber play. It was cut, looking at the growth here. It was cut pretty hard about 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, 10, 15. It's come back real strong. There's a lot of stems, but they're small. So if you need a longer time horizon before you come back in here and pull any amount of timber value off. But if you're looking for a place to park some cash, you've made some money in the stock market, you'd like to own a piece of Maine land, well, why not own 100 acres that you can get to year-round that's growing incredibly well right now with extremely low property taxes? So if that's of any interest to you, you're looking for a piece of land to park some money, looking for a place to recreate, looking for a place to park a camper, give Rick Theriault, your Maine real estate guide, a call at area code 207-731-9902 and take a ride out. This is a tremendous time of the year to look at property. Very few insects biting at this time of year. We're here in late August. The air temperature today is going to get up to a high of about 74. It's just beautiful. So if you would like to take a look at this property, you've got an interest in it, give me a call and let's make an appointment and get out here and take a look before this one's gone. So call Rick Theriault, your Maine real estate guide, at 207-731-9902. I don't know how well this is going to come out in video, but this is a moose bed. All the vegetation is packed right down there. It's about, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet across by 4 or 5 feet wide. And there are dozens of places here, very similar, where that moose has been hanging out and taking a snooze. Here's an area where they've nipped off all the tips of this browse. Moose eats quite a bit on a daily basis, around 75 to 100 pounds of vegetation a day. So they do a lot of browsing. Oh, as I walk along back to the truck, let me tell you about the recreational opportunities here in this area of Forkstown. This property, the 100 acres, does not have any water feature on it. But for those of you not familiar with Maine, Maine has a tremendous amount of recreational water available, whether it's on your property or not. This property is 5 miles from the confluence of the Mattawamkeag River, where the east and the west branch of the Mattawamkeag form the Mattawamkeag River. Those waters are, in the springtime when the water's cool, decent trout fishery, and in the summertime there are better smallmouth bass fishery as the water's warm. They still hold trout, of course, but you'd want to find the colder springs, because trout are a cold water species and bass are a warm water species. This region of the state produces some pretty incredible whitetail bucks, very heavy-bodied deer. Some of the towns of notoriety along the way here are Maquahawk, Reed Plantation, Glenwood, Haynesville, and here in Forkstown. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of acres available to hunt on around this property. This would be a great base to either park a camper or build a hunting camp. Some evidence that this is a great region to hunt and fish is within 2 miles of here. There are a couple of lodges just in the town of Haynesville and Forkstown that cater to outdoor recreationists. So if you're looking for an affordable getaway hunting property, base camp, put this one on your short list. It's a nice one. So here we are on US 2A, and here's the beginning of the road that goes through about the center of the property, which would be very easy to improve, put a nice driveway in and either park a camper here or build a small camp, even if you just went in around the corner because you want a little more privacy. But year-round accessible, off-grid, long-term timber holding, recreational property here in the town of Forkstown. Call today.